This is it, your first race, and prior to this you'll have joined an organising club, obtained the regulations and paid the entry fee.
There will be a closing date on the online entry form, but if the grid is heavily oversubscribed, the race may be full on opening day, so get your entry in early. Sometime later you will receive final instructions and circuit passes to print or store on your phone. Check the information carefully, as there may well be changes from the original regulations and timetable. Motorsport is ever evolving, and your job as a driver is to ensure that you are always in possession of the latest information.
It's an excellent idea for a novice to visit a race meeting as a spectator first before taking part for real. The flow and procedures can be quite daunting, and the chance to see it for yourself is invaluable.
This is certainly what I and many of my colleagues did before we finally got involved. Even better, if you have a friend in the sport, get involved, help out, earn some racetrack cred before your debut, and don't be afraid to ask. If you are unsure of anything, you'll find the whole of the motorsport community helpful, friendly and welcoming to newcomers. There will also be an online entry list, so you know for the first time who you'll be racing against. Particularly check the timetable, and if your club doesn't use the optional pre-event sign-on and declaration, note the signing on and scrutineering time for your class. If your club mandates signing on at the meeting, they will check your licence and club membership card at that point. You may want to leave it in the hope that you gain a much coveted upgrading signature through your exemplary behaviour and obvious pace. If your club favours the online process, then you will need to find race admin and deposit your downloaded licence upgrade card for the attention of the clerk of the course. Don't forget to collect it at the end of the meeting.
Point to note here is you can replace 2 of the 6 signatures you need for your upgrade, one by taking the advanced ARDS course and the other by volunteering for a day as a marshal. Both exceptional ways of increasing your knowledge and skills base. Next, depending on the organising club's protocol, take your car to scrutineering and get it examined at the time stated.
Some clubs self-declare. If this is the case, you will be notified. Ensure you are accurate and honest with all the information you provide at all times.
Note that as a novice, you're required to carry a black cross on a yellow background on your car until you've successfully gained your 6 signatures to upgrade.
A way to ensure that experienced competitors know you are starting your motorsport journey and give you extra consideration when on track.
Before hitting the track, attendance at the driver's briefing is mandatory. Failure to attend could result in fines or penalties, so punctuality is the key here. It's important to contact the clerk of the course if you'll be delayed for any reason. When it is your scheduled time to do so, head to the assembly area and get ready for the track to go live for your practice session.
It is usual to go to an assembly area some minutes before practice begins.
At this point in the assembly area, I generally have a last check of all my racewear, make sure it's tight, done up, and I have everything I need, and also I'll warm the car up, letting the heat sink into the engine and gearbox. Good luck, Luke.
A fire-resistant balaclava cannot help you in the event if it is still in your kit bag. I must mention here that the first motor race day for a novice very often results in getting so out of sequence that they almost miss the actual race itself. So keep listening to the announcements, keep an eye on the notice board, read the issued bulletins. There are often changes throughout the day. Remember, unsure? Ask.
So, finally, qualifying for your first race meeting. How exciting is that?
It is not a bad idea to keep an eye on the more experienced competitors in your class to see what they are up to. Your practice session will probably last from 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the circuit. And remember, the idea of practice is to familiarise yourself with your car and the circuit, including all of the marshalling points and light panel locations. Take time to warm both yourself and your car up, as neither of you will be at race temperature straight away. Scan the track on your opening lap for changes in circuit conditions and grip levels. Gravel brought back onto the track, oil spills evidenced by cement dust, or if it's wet, pooling water and the driest line. As a novice, it is easy to forget that the practice session is not a race and fall into the trap of competing with the other cars on circuit. Instead, try to find a clear part of the track and just get on with your learning process. You may see more experienced competitors making pit stops to finely tune their cars, but you will probably do better utilising the time on track to build up your pace.
If there is anything wrong with your car, fix it now and send someone to get the practice times for your class. Another distraction when you first start out as a novice is data. You may see many race cars equipped with cameras and AIM or V-Box type systems, as championships and regulations allow.
As a novice, disregard such equipment, even if fitted. Focus on looking as far ahead as you can through corners, and no special performances for the cameras, please. Comparing speed traces with the championship leader at your first race will only serve to depress and confuse you. Plus, take your focus off where it should be, on the basics: smoothness, accuracy and consistency. Equally, a sim may have taught you the configuration of the circuit, but now we must add in noise, vibration and realistic G-forces. Expect a sensory overload and don't put yourself under too much pressure at this stage. It's supposed to be fun. Remember, your qualifying practice times will be used to determine your position on the grid. At the end of qualifying practice, you will be marshalled into the pit lane and swept back into the paddock. If there is anything wrong with your car, fix it now and send someone to get practice times for your class, or look online. That way it will give you an idea of where you are on the grid.
Remember, throughout the day, pay attention to paddock announcements.
When you are called, you'll collect in the assembly area as before and then be moved onto the grid. The start line marshals will direct you onto your correct grid position, and then you'll be waved away by a green flag for a final formation lap, possibly 2 if conditions have changed since qualifying. Once again, read the final instructions and/or pay careful attention to the clerk of the course's briefing re correct procedure for that venue and event. Avoid the temptation to weave the car side to side excessively. Personally, I use this lap as an opportunity to warm up my brakes, tyres and transmission, making sure that I can select all of my gears, and I scan the track in front of me, looking out for the green flags, light panels being shown, as these are the marshals points from which any further signals will be shown. A classic novice error is forgetting to put the car in first gear before the start line. So, as you approach the last bend of the green flag lap, put your car into first gear and move into your grid position at a walking pace. The 5-second board will be raised to indicate that the grid is complete. The red lights will be switched on 5 seconds after the board is withdrawn, and then switched off anytime from 4 to 10 seconds later to signify the start of the race. As the lights go out, move off at the correct standing start revs. If you haven't practiced this, you may have a problem. It is a good idea to use some time at the end of a test session to put in a few practice starts. More than a few, and you may be putting in a new clutch. Be ready to change from first to second gear quickly. Keep your eyes on the track ahead and not the gear stick or rev counter, as you may have to take rapid action to avoid one of the stalled, slower starting cars in front of you. A rolling start brings its own share of complications and opportunities for the switched on driver. Start line marshals will be keenly watching to ensure that the grid is in correct order up to the start line. Your job as a driver is to make sure you are in the correct gear, probably second, and do not drop track position to the row in front. As soon as the lights go out, the race is on, but remember, you cannot overtake until you have passed the line. Most racing accidents occur in the rush up to the first corner, often with disastrous consequences. If you should stall the engine at the start, raise your arm as high as possible to press your foot on the clutch and release the brakes. If possible, try to put your head back to the headrest to avoid whiplash in the event that someone runs into you. If you cannot start the engine, the marshals will come over and give assistance. It is important in this, as in any other trackside incident, to do exactly as the marshals request. They are very experienced and used to dealing with these things efficiently and to everyone's best safety. If, unfortunately, you should have an incident on the circuit and the car clearly won't move under its own power, get out of the car only when it is safe to do so and move to the side of the track. Do exactly as the marshals instruct. If the car can move but it is damaged, just drive it as far off the track as possible and leave it in as safe a place as is possible. These safe spaces are normally noticeable by orange boards or green striped Armco. If you are being recovered trackside by a tow vehicle, whether after qualifying, during the race, under a safety car, or indeed after the race, there are certain rules and protocols you must follow. It is essential for safety that you have your helmet on and fastened, your harnesses on and tightened, and fully understand the technique for the operation. Use your brake gently to keep the towing strop tight. In a single seater or Caterham, your raised arm to stop the strop tangling with the suspension or wheels, and where possible, try and stay in the mirrors of the towing vehicle. It helps to agree the route back to the paddock with your towing marshal also. These days, fire is quite rare, but still very dangerous. Always make sure that the fire extinguisher bottle in your car is full, in date, and the pin is removed before going on track. Most racing cars have a full pressure system plumbed into the cockpit in the engine bay. There will be a red handle or button on or near the instrument panel. Familiarise yourself with the position and operation of the complete system before ever using the car. Each marshal's post has trained fire marshals with equipment to hand. So if you think there is a fire, park as close as you can to the marshal's post, get clear of the car and leave it to the experts. Whenever getting out of your car trackside, it is always advisable to try and keep the chassis between you and the oncoming traffic.
So that's the checkered flag and the end of your first race.
You'll be marshalled back either to the post-race scrutineering bay or into the paddock. As a novice, you're more likely to rejoin your team and tell them what an epic dice you had with car number 6 and how, if they dial out the understeer, next time you'll finish in the money. If you are lucky enough to finish in the first 3, you may get to jump onto a winner's vehicle and do a lap waving to the crowd before you climb up onto the winner's podium and spray that champagne.
Finally, I want to touch on what makes our sport so fantastic to watch and especially to take part in: respect. First and foremost, this is a sport and it should be noble. I was lucky enough to work with and learn from Sir Jackie Stewart. He managed to win 3 Formula One World Championships and still maintain the admiration and respect of the entire community, especially myself. How you conduct yourself out of the cockpit is as important as in it. And when you are behind the wheel, you win only when you and your car are fast enough to do so, not by taking unfair advantage or by weaponizing your car. Other drivers, marshals, officials and spectators have a right to safety and respect. Fail to honour this and you will find you very quickly become an ex-racing driver with neither licence, club or indeed anywhere to race. You have been warned: race with respect or do not race at all. We love our sport and will protect it. Thanks for your consideration. Well, that's the end of our film and the start of your racing career. Whether you intend to race for fun or make a profession of it,
It's a fantastic sport. Enjoy yourself.